Okay. So we are live. We are live. No viewers yet, so I'm going to wait a bit before we dive into this. But there is a lot to talk about. What's up, Pyrotechnic? Yeah, this is gonna be a loaded video. I don't have the full script yet. I'm trying to get it. I do have the little snippets that are being shared around Twitter and all the other platforms right now. So I guess we'll react to those until I'm able to get a hold of the full script, which I've heard is a doozy. So, from the little I've been reading, it's a bit painful. It's a bit painful. If anybody is able to, happens to have the script, also my Streamlabs tweets didn't even link to the stream. Okay. Because right now I just have a little bit. Right now, that's all I've got. It's just a little bit. So, since now we've got a little bit of people in here, let's try to start delving into a little bit of this. So, here I am on Twitter. They turn. So supposedly, Blossom is, of the three, the more the more I mean, obviously she's always been the most mature, but here she's definitely that. She's definitely the most she's got a boyfriend, but she's not too scandalous. She's got a job. She still talks to her grandfather or whatever they say. Blossom or Bubbles, on the other hand, is she's a bit weird. So here's what's crazy about this whole thing is the Powerpuff Girls cartoon, the one that we grew up with, the one that y'all grew up with, is in this show. But the in-universe twist of this show is that these live-action girls, they're the real Powerpuff Girls. And the cartoon that we all grew up with, that is merely a product of their lifestyle that was commercialized. Yeah. So, and Buttercup, they just turned into some butch, hardcore, I don't know if I'd go feminist, but she seems to be very against social norms. She happens to be a lesbian, which is fine, but I don't like how sexy the Powerpuff Girls are. I've always imagined that when the Powerpuff Girls grew older, they would be a bit more mature. Even Bubbles and Buttercup, the ones who were, even as kids, the more immature of the three, I always imagined that they would they would grow to be more mature. Kind of like, not that they wouldn't, I mean, obviously they're going to end up having sex and, doing that scandalous type of stuff, but even that sex is not scandalous, but you know what I mean. But it's still I always imagine them being more mature to the point of, like, look at Superman, for example. Superman has a relationship. He's in love. He, obviously has done the deed. He has Superboy, and all of these things. But he also keeps in mind that he's Superman, and that there are people out to get him. There are people out to hurt him. And he's very wary of who he trusts and who he lets in on his secret, because he knows he's putting them in danger. What I don't like about the Powerpuff Girls having this sex-filled life is now everybody knows who they are, and everybody knows that they're the Powerpuff Girls and all this stuff, and now they're doing all of these things. In my opinion, it doesn't fit who they are as characters. I don't think it works. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these little scripts. Again, I'm still working on trying to get the full one, because apparently it got removed. I'm in talks with a couple people on Twitter right now to try to see if I can have it sent to me. But as of right now, I have nothing. So let's just go ahead and search here on Twitter. I have like 3 Twitter tabs open for some reason. So let's just type in Powerpuff script. Okay, so here's a line from Bubbles. She says, "Blossom's fine. I saw on her Insta," which I guess they have Instagram in the Powerpuff universe, that she has a boyfriend. I saw on her LinkedIn that she got promoted, and I saw on Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences. Now, Grandpa, I don't know exactly who they'd be referring to, because the only father figure they had, at least from my knowledge, from my memory, was Professor Utonium. And from what I saw and from what I remember, he didn't have any parents, anybody biological. Buttercup replies to Bubbles and saying, "Coming back here is probably triggering for her." I'm not sure where here is. I guess I'll have to find out whenever I get the full script. And then Bubbles says, "Why? Because she's the one who killed Mojo. I mean, moveon.org. I don't know what moveon.org is supposed to be exactly. I guess that's a... I don't know. It's not very good of a comeback. Next up we have Buttercup telling Blossom to wake up. From what I've seen, this is only a little tiny thing. I've seen the bigger portion of this, and this is supposedly taking place after Act 2, where supposedly they got into some big fight, and Blossom was knocked out. And Buttercup's trying to wake her up by saying, "Blossom, wake up or we'll leak your nudes everywhere." To which Bubbles reacts in a confused look. And then Buttercup replies to Bubbles and saying, "Oh, that worked on you once." Which implies that Bubbles took nudes of herself at one point. Do we really need to know that? Do we really need to know that Bubbles took nude pictures of herself? What is that doing? I'm just very curious. What is that doing for the narrative, for the characters? Is that character development? Is that huge character growth? What are we doing? You understand what I'm saying? It's very much how was this? How was this? I don't understand the meeting that must have happened and the collaborative minds that worked on this script. Who came up with these and genuinely thought, "Oh, this is good character development. This is a good." Does the audience really need to know that Bubbles took nude photos of herself and they exist somewhere in her phone? Or perhaps even her sister's phones, to the point where Buttercup knows about them and Buttercup is threatening to leak them? You understand what I'm saying? Is that a funny, oh, that'd be kind of funny? Sure, But putting it inside of a show that is going to have character development and seasons and episodes, and we're going to need to see these characters grow, do we need to see that? I don't think so. In fact, it's not even I don't think so. It's we don't. Okay, so next up here, also there's a guy named Drake, who I guess is Blossom's boyfriend, and he's being introduced in this. I don't know much about him other than these couple little bit of lines that he has. So Bubbles here in this portion of the script is saying, look, we loved being Powerpuff Girls, but sometimes we wanted to do other things too. Like in Dirty Dancing, Baby wanted to join the Peace Corps, but she also wanted to be a fancy slut, and her dad didn't get it. So is Bubbles saying she wants to be a fancy slut? I'm just going to keep reading the script. Drake, emotional. Jerry Orbach was doing his best to understand. I don't know what that's in reference to. Entering the Powerpuff Girls' home, hallway / Buttercup's room, day. Blossom heads upstairs where the bumping sound continues from Buttercup's room, then abruptly stops. Blossom opens the door and finds Buttercup in bed with Macy, a new character, the woman she eyed at the bar the night before. They just finished. Blossom replies, "Oh God, I'm sorry." And Buttercup says, "It's fine," and she looks to Macy, "We're done, right?" And Macy replies, "I'd say 6 times is enough." I don't understand. Sudden Orthodox, you've got a very good point. Who wrote this? How did this get past anybody or anything? Who wrote this and was like, yeah, this is putting my name on the map. This is... Citizen Kane wished it had writing this good. No, I don't have a link to the full script. I'm trying to get it. I only have whatever's been leaked on Twitter. I've been trying to message some people, and I've only been able to get little screen grabs. So that's all I'm able to react to right now until I'm able to get the full one. If any of you guys have the full one, I would love to read it and do that. But as of right now, all I have is these little screen grabs. Yeah, who is writing this? Really? Look at this. I'd say 6 times is enough. Who is laughing to that joke? Who is laughing at the Buttercup, a person who we used to watch in a cartoon, who was in elementary school? That's like if you knew somebody since they were in elementary school, and then 20 years later, you found out. Did you want to know? Did you want to find out that person that you used to go to elementary school with had sex with somebody 6 times? Do you want to know that? Do you care to know that about somebody you knew in elementary school? No. So this girl that we watched on a cartoon when she was in elementary school, now 20 years later, is having sex with somebody 6 times. Do we need to know that? Who is watching that scene and saying, "Ha! Hilarious! Chef's kiss! Ha! Ha! How beautiful! Great script writing." Nobody. I'm trying to see if I could find more. So here's another one. This one's also a bit cut off. I read a longer one earlier. It says, in fact, hold on. Let me see if I can find a longer one. I had some downloaded on my phone. I downloaded them from Twitter. Where did it go? Those are my Twitter videos. I don't know. Oh, here we go. I actually have a lot more in here. Here it is. Bubbles has climbed out of bed and is beginning to put her costume on. It's the same dress they wore as little girls, which I'm guessing is what we saw with the leaked pictures. Blossom says, "Come on, guys, let's just suit up and get this done." Buttercup replies, "I'm not wearing that dress anymore. It's compulsory heterosexuality." And Blossom says, "We'll take it up with Dad." See, I can tell Buttercup is the, she's definitely the against social norms type character. Ooh, we're at 9 watchers now. Very nice. So let's see what else I have in here. Bubbles says, "Guys, how can you turn down an evil recon mission? Especially when said mish would make a perfect storyline for my documentary, Bubbles is Back." Buttercup replies, "Not to be confused with your other film, Bubbles on Her Back." Who watched? Let me ask you guys this question. Who watched the Powerpuff Girls cartoon that starred 3 girls in elementary school? Look at me. That starred 3 girls in elementary school. Who watched this show and said, "You know what this show needs? Sex jokes." Powerpuff Girls is an amazing cartoon with strong characters, okay? And some of the best fighting for a cartoon that came out around that time. If you watched that show and the only thing you took out of it was, yeah, this show needs some more sex jokes, you didn't get it. You didn't get what the point of the show was. You didn't get the show. Powerpuff Girls is not just an action-packed show. It is a funny show. It is a funny show. Like, some of the dialogue in there, I still quote the "eat your peas, Professor." I still quote that with my friends all the time. It is a hilariously written show. So who watched it and was like, it's funny, but could use some more sex jokes? Nobody. And this one. Blossom says, "Aren't we here to investigate?" And Buttercup says, "I'm here to pick up bi-curious townies. You're here to avoid Drake. Bubbles is here to investigate, but she forgot that Butch hates her. Luckily, we're dealing with another hate boner, so alcohol helps." Blossom asks, "Why do you know so much about hate boners?" Buttercup says, "Life is one big hate boner." I don't know what else to say. The last one I have here is Bubbles says, "I always believed in you and defended you, Dad. Even when you sold away our likeness to that cartoon," which is the one you and I grew up with. "Even when you sold away our likeness to that cartoon, which, by the way, totally whitewashed us. Even then, I had your back. I always had a smile on my face. I never broke character, even though there was so much more to me. I always put family and the team first, no matter what. Is that what the Powerpuff... They were whitewashed? Could you even tell that they were white? I couldn't. I couldn't tell that they were white. In fact, honestly, I thought I don't know if y'all, but I thought the Powerpuff Girls were Japanese, or at least some kind of Asian descent, because even on Cartoon Network, because not only did the Powerpuff Girls get an anime adaptation, but that's another story, but I used to think the Powerpuff Girls were at least some type of Asian descent, because on Cartoon Network, we got all of those CN Groovies that were in Japanese. Had the Japanese, I think one of the songs was even in Japanese. And then there was one that had Japanese text and everything. I always assumed that the Powerpuff Girls were some kind of Asian. But that's just me. Even if you didn't think that, whitewashed? What? That was the original. How was a show going to come out 20 years later, and then this show is going to call the original a whitewash? You're just trying to start controversy over nothing. So here we have another one. Exit Hollywood Boulevard, night. Cut on a license plate, Bubbles 1. Affixed to a baby blue Corvette. Adult Bubbles, still wearing her signature pigtails, pops the trunk. It's full of Powerpuff Girls merch and a price list. Selfies, $20. T-shirts, $30. Selfie and a shirt, $45. So she's trying to do the whole thing that a lot of actors do, trying to sell selfies and shirts and stuff. Narrator. Bubbles went to Hollywood, hoping to capitalize on her childhood fame. After 2 stints in rehab, 3 failed reality show pilots, she had pivoted to direct sales. Now keep in mind, these 2 lines here, it says narrator. I don't know if y'all remember, but months and months and months ago, they did confirm. Let me just double check this. But I believe Powerpuff Girls live action Tom Kenny. I believe Tom Kenny was said to still be the narrator. Yes. Here is a deadline. Robin Lively to play Sarah Bellum, Tom Kenny to reprise role as narrator. Okay? So, let me read these. Take Tom Kenny's narrator voice in your head, and we'll read the narrator lines again together. Bubbles went to Hollywood, hoping to capitalize on her childhood fame. After 2 stints in rehab and 3 failed reality show pilots, she had pivoted to direct sales. The Powerpuff Girls narrator gets to say, Tom Kenny, after 2 stints in rehab. Sure. Bubbles announces to herself and a pack of passing tourists, I'm Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. The real Bubbles, unlike that Bobo knockoff Wonder Woman. Fake Wonder Woman, who looks really fake, turns and sticks her tongue out at Bubbles as the tourists flock to her. Is that supposed to be funny? That's my reaction to this entire script. Is that supposed to be funny? So Jojo is now here, which I've heard this isn't Mojo Jojo. I've heard this is actually his son, who's not even a monkey. He's just like a random guy. I've delivered on everything I promised, except free Gelato Fridays, and that's only because the perfect scoop turned out to be a front for meth trafficking. Then, exasperated, Alessia Lawrence has no experience. She's impulsive and reactionary. Gina says, she's exciting. Jojo replies, you mean she's not a white man? I don't know how to reply to that. She's exciting, and Jojo replies, you mean she's not a white man? Okay. You know, you hear about reverse discrimination, but until it happens to you, no offense, you totally earned your position. Optics don't hurt, though. Butch is now here, and Butch says, last time I saw you, you broke off our engagement and told me you'd pawned the ring for drugs. Bubble says, was that you? Oh, someone, okay. Someone sent the full script. I got it. I just got the full script, y'all. Are y'all ready? I just got the full script. Let me know if y'all are ready. I want to hear those. I want to see those readies in the chat. Come on, let's see it. Let me see those readies. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for the full script, y'all? Whoo! I got it. Who's ready? Come on, y'all. I got 10 viewers. I want to see those readies. Come on. I got the full script. Nobody's going to say ready? Okay, pyrotechnic. All right, good boy. It is not dead, Green. It is not dead. And you'll see. Y'all will see. So, ready. All right, everybody's ready. Here we go. The script was written February 9th. 2021. So here we are. Exit. Big Blue Endless Sky Day. Super. 2003. Over a blue sky filled with cotton candy clouds. Here's that Tom Kenny narrator. Once upon a time, in the early 2000s, there were 3 extraordinary sisters who were destined to save the world. Blossom Utonium, 7, soars up into frame. Blossom can fly and effortlessly, even in the impractical pink dress she wears. Blossom, come on guys, he's getting away. Narrator, Blossom was the leader, the go-getter, the goody-goody. I love how they call her the goody-goody. I love how being the mature go-getter, as they say, the leader, the go-getter, I love how that's being the goody-goody. Like, because goody-goody is a phrase that's normally meant as being demeaning. You know, it's normally like, oh, they're a goody-goody. They don't have any fun. They don't do anything wrong. All this stuff is normally meant as a derogatory, demeaning thing. In fact, hold on. Let me see if I can get... I wonder if I can get this script up on the screen for you guys. I tried to do a browser source before, but I don't know. If it's gonna let me. It won't let me paste. I have to type it in by manual. It might not even work. Oh, it worked. Okay, good. Alright, so let's see what I can do about making this bigger. Wait, but it's not... No, it's not going to work because it's just freeze-framed. It's just stuck on that. I would have to do my display capture. But that's not going to work either. So let me open... I'm going to fix this, y'all. I'm going to fix this, I swear. Let me open OBS. Maybe I can download this script. I did download it, didn't I? Let me type in Powerpuff, or PPG is what it is. PPG.pdf. So here's the PDF here. So now, let me try to bring it over. Add a new source. Here it is, I think. Okay, here we go. Can y'all see this okay? Jinxie Jr. subscribed. Thank you for the sub, Jinxie. Can y'all see this okay? I really hope you guys can. Maybe we can try to make it a little bigger. That looks a little bigger. Here we go. Let's do it. Oh. Okay. Here we go. I think that's going to be okay. All right. So, let's go over it again. Once upon a time in the early 2000s, there were extraordinary sisters who were destined to save the world. Blossom soars up in a frame. Blossom can fly and effortlessly, even in the impractical pink dress she wears. Blossom says, "Come on, guys, he's getting away." Blossom was the leader, the go-getter, the goody-goody. Buttercup Utonium flies up next to her sister. She's scrappy, scowling tomboy wearing a green dress. That's a fair description. Buttercup, mocking, high voice. "Come on, guys, he's getting away. Please, we always catch them." Narrator. Buttercup was the tough one, the hard ass, if you'll pardon the idiom. The hard ass. Okay. Okay, hold on. So this narrator line, isn't this still when they're 7 years old? Because it literally up here says Blossom Utonium, 7. The narrator of a group of 7-year-olds is calling them the hard ass. Do we see a problem with this script yet, y'all? I don't know. What do you think? Do you see a problem with the script? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Buttercup zooms off, a green blur. Bubbles Utonium, in a blue dress, pigtails, and adorable smile, rises up beside Blossom. Bubbles says, "I spy a camera crew. We're going to be on TV tonight. Woot!" Blossom says, "Let's focus on finishing the job and protecting our city." Bubbles says, "Well, don't forget to smile. Daddy says our image is as important as our efficiency." Apparently in this show, Professor Utonium is this guy who's kind of, I don't want to say controlling the girls, but he's kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? He's kind of trying to monopolize them, you know? He's the one pulling the strings on their t-shirts and their merchandise and their TV shows and all that stuff. I don't know. She grins, touching her dimples with her index fingers. The narrator says, And Bubbles was the sweet, upbeat, and cheerful one, most of the time. Title: Powerpuff Girls. The three girls dip down together, diving towards a marauding three-headed Pegasus monster. Big as a building, wreaking havoc on the city. We only see it briefly, don't worry. Time to kick some beast. She bursts ahead of them, hooking swiftly around a welcome billboard that reads, "The City of Townsville, home of the Powerpuff Girls." That's very strange. You don't see that with anybody else. Where's the Metropolis sign that says home of Superman? Where's the sign in Gotham City that says home of Batman? You don't see that happen very often. And those are both characters who have also been monopolized in their own universes. I remember there was even a Batman the Animated Series episode that came back back in the early to mid 90s that went over the discussion of Batman having to deal with they have t-shirts of me. They have, I'm on TV. They have t-shirts. I'm on a coffee mug. I should just stop being, he has this big episode, of not being Batman anymore and all this stuff. A triptych of brief action shots. Buttercup punching the beast. Bubbles stunning it with her ice breath. Blossom tying it up. Townsville cheers them on. The girls take a bow. These exceptional girls were not born but created by the Professor Drake Utonium. Oh, his name is Drake. I thought Drake was... Okay. I thought Drake was her boyfriend. Okay. Very strange. Didn't he have a first name that was revealed? Or has it always just been Professor Utonium? Out of all the names they could have given Professor Utonium Drake? Alright. Professor Utonium's lab, day. Super, 1996, 7 years earlier. Drake Utonium, a debonair scientist in his 30s, toils in a lab surrounded by mysterious equipment and colorful compounds. There's an explosion of light, red, blue, and green. Oh, an explosion of light, red, blue, and green, as new life blooms from the pipette. So this is showing him create them. Had long dreamed of being a father, but his grandiosity prevented him from pursuing his goal in the usual manner. Drake didn't just want children, he wanted. Drake lifts tinted goggles off his face, astonished. Phenomena. Above him, in the magic-fogged air, we see the silhouettes of the hovering, newly made 7-year-old Powerpuff Girls. Drake turns his gawky, cowering lab partner, Dr. Joseph Mojo Mondel. Mojo claps, though he looks a bit uncertain. Congrats, you did it. I couldn't have done it without you, Mojo. Professor Utonium's house, kitchen. The girls, the professor and the professor's girlfriend, Sarah Bellum, 30s, a redhead with kind eyes, enjoy a cozy, laughter-filled dinner. So, Miss Bellum is the professor's girlfriend? Somebody just subscribed. Douglas Russell has just subscribed. Thank you, sir. In fact, let me move my... There we go. There you are. Getting some comments in here. Yes, the Powerpuff Girls live... Well, it's not going to be a train wreck anymore. Or it could still be. But it is... This script is now going to be no more. They are now going to rewrite this, at least according to the news articles that have come out. In this version, no, Mojo Jojo is not a monkey. From what I've read so far, perhaps we'll get into that more. Yeah, Mojo's a human. That's what I've heard. All right, let's get back into it. Oh yeah, so Sarah Bellum, Miss Bellum, is the Professor Utonium's girlfriend. Okay. Narrator. For years, all was well in the Utonium household. The sisters were the best of friends. Drake was a proud papa. His girlfriend, Sarah, had become like part of the family. Off this warm scene, we cut to First Bank of Townsville. A crowd cheering as the girls descend on villain Fuzzy Lumpkins and snatch a bag of cash from his clutches. How are they going to make Fuzzy Lumpkins look? If Mojo Jojo isn't even a monkey in this, how are they going to make Fuzzy Lumpkins? The girls were beloved heroes in Townsville, a city mysteriously besieged by villainous creatures and crooks. Scientists, religious gurus, and conspiracy theorists all had their own explanations for why Townsville was the center of these strange attacks, but no one knew for sure. All they knew was that the Powerpuff Girls kept them safe. I had to wake up to do this, y'all. I am tired. Oh, my face cam is not here. Sonic D397 just subscribed. Thank you, sir. Here, let me move my webcam up. There we go. Were they supposed to be married in the original? I don't remember that. But, okay. Where are we? Ent Joseph Jojo Mondel's observatory. Reveal Mojo watching the spectacle on television in his mountaintop observatory. He glares, sick with envy. Dr. Joseph Mojo Mondel, that name, man. Dr. Joseph Mojo Mondel was not so delighted with the Powerpuff Girls. He resented their celebrity, especially since he'd helped Drake discover Chemical X, the mutagenic substance that gave the girls their powers. But Drake, wrapped up in the limelight, seemed to have forgotten about their decade-long partnership. Mojo turns off the TV. He walks to the window. He had hoped to use the chemical to gain powers himself, powers he'd used for good, like Elon Musk. Okay? But also for his own personal gain, like Elon Musk. Okay? Is Elon Musk watching this Powerpuff Girls show in the first place? And second of all, if he does, is he really going to be like, aha, wah, they got me, woo, they really got me? No. But what use would it be now? Mojo wasn't cute. He didn't have sugar or spice or anything nice. He was just plain old boring man. Plain old boring man. Here we go with this again, with plain old boring men. As Mojo glazes out the window, we see 3 glittery streaks of color appear in the sky. It's the girls. A boy runs up from behind, nose pressed against the glass. Mojo's son, Jojo. So they split Mojo Jojo into 2 different people. The scientist named Mojo and his son, Jojo. How hard is it to make an adaptation? How hard is that? Dad, were those the Powerpuff Girls? I wish I could fly. They're all so cool, especially Blossom. Professor Utonium's house. Day. The girls and Drake watch a live broadcast. Mojo stands at a podium, televised rally. The chyron underneath reads, Concerned scientist holds anti-Powerpuff rally. They probably will mention Tesla. Mojo on TV. I worked with the professor for years. He's power hungry and whatever that word is. Duplicitous, I think is the word. Duplicitous. He stole Chemical X from me, and I believe he may even be the mastermind behind Townsville's most heinous monsters. How else would the girls stay famous if not protecting us? But maybe we need to be protected from them. Blossom says, but would never. Drake says, he's a sad, bitter man. Don't worry, you're more popular than ever. Drake was right. The girls had a national fan club, licensed merch, even their own cartoon. But Mojo wasn't their only enemy. The narrator continues. They were about to face an evil far more formidable, a force that's defeated innumerable gifted children. Puberty. So now here we are in 2013. Blossom, now a teenager, is lying in bed. She opens one eye, elbows teenage Buttercup, who is lying next to her. We see SAT, prep books, scattered next to Blossom. Blossom says, wake up, red phone. Buttercup takes out her mouth guard and groans. Buttercup, I was up until 3 a.m. texting Rachel. She thinks I'm seeing other girls. Blossom says, because you are. Buttercup says, yeah, but I had to put in a lot of work to convince her I wasn't. So, Buttercup's a playboy? She's playing the field? With other women? Is that the questions that we had when we, because, as kids, when we watched the Powerpuff Girls, right? We often had questions, we were like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do when they're older. I wonder what they're going to, was that one of the questions that we had? Do you guys think that Buttercup is going to have a girlfriend? And do you guys think that Buttercup's going to end up cheating on her? Man, I really want to see a live-action Powerpuff Girls. I wonder if Buttercup's going to get a girlfriend and cheat on her. Reveal Bubbles passed out on the floor, hungover. Bubbles says, can someone please answer that thing? Buttercup flippantly picks it up and slams it back down. Buttercup, where were you last night? Bubbles, we broke into the zoo again. We made the flamingos drink hypnotic. The alcohol hypnotic? Blossom has climbed out of bed and is beginning to put her costume on. It's the same dress they wore as little girls. Come on, guys, let's just suit up and get this done. Buttercup says, I'm not wearing that dress anymore. It's compulsory heterosexuality. Blossom says, take it up with Dad. Buttercup says, Dad freaks out if we do anything off-model. He treats us like a product he developed. Bubbles asking, why are you so angry at Daddy? Buttercup, it wasn't our idea to be ordained saviors of Townsville. Blossom says, no, but it's our responsibility. Even if we're tired from test prep or girl drama or blue fruit-flavored cognac. Bubbles dry heaves. Blossom pulls Buttercup's costume out from the hamper. She sniffs it and grimaces. Blossom continues, tossing it. That crystal deodorant does not work. Like, I am okay with Buttercup being a lesbian. There's nothing wrong with that. If Buttercup, she's a character, and she was obviously a tomboy. So, her taking that route wasn't obvious, but it wasn't too out of the way either. My problem is, why do we need to know that she's some playing the field type lesbian? And why do we need to know that she has sex later on with another woman 6 times? There's nothing wrong with her being a lesbian, but the fact that they're going so far into sex when we're talking about a children's cartoon. This was a children's show made for children. You don't need, I get that they're adults now, but we don't need to go that far into sex. Professor Utonium's house, minutes later. Buttercup, Bubbles, and Blossom shuffle out the front door. Hold on, let me just check something. Oh, we're at 15 viewers now. Bubbles, are we fighting Swampy again? Who has the brief? Drake pops out of the house, followed by Sarah. Drake says, Bubbles, wait, where are your pigtails? You have to stick to the character Bible. So he's their, manager now? Sarah, she's not a character, Drake. I know, that's why I've allowed her to select 2 outside friends and unlimited after homeschool activities. Buttercup, I don't appreciate the look on your face right now. Can you blame her? She's 17 and she's up at the butt crack of dawn to fight a tonking swamp. Sarah, as always, I appreciate your concern for my family, but you're not part of it. What an asshole. Isn't that your girlfriend? You're supposed to be including her, not excluding her. Before the girls can begin to defend Sarah, Blossom pipes up. Guys, we have to go. Townsville needs us. Blossom takes off into the sky. The other girls follow suit reluctantly. Sarah stares at Drake, hurt. Come on, I'll make you an omelet while we watch the live feed. There you go. And guys, anytime your girl's mad at you, just make her an omelet. Problem solved. Problem fixed. Drake heads inside. Sarah doesn't move. Sarah says, we've been together for 9 years. Drake says, exclusive for 7. Sarah says, when are you going to let me in here? Another 9 years? Never? I can't do this anymore, Drake. Can't do this anymore, Drake. City of Townsville, day. Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup battle Swampy. It's way more effortful than it should be, when suddenly a laser beam grazes Swampy and almost hits Blossom. Reveal, a giant squid robot, being operated by Mojo, a lab monkey by his side. Oh, no, you can't do that. No, that's such a cop-out. Oh, come on. Really? How did they think anybody would have been happy with that? How did they think anybody would have been happy with that? Being operated by Mojo, a lab monkey by his side. Who writes this and said, that's good enough. They want Mojo Jojo, just like the show, but we'll make him a human and we'll put a lab monkey. Who really cares? This is a kid's show. Who really cares? That's what I'm getting from this. Mojo's voice bellows from a megaphone. Stop the Powerpuff Girls. Don't you see they're behind us? Behind this? They're putting you all in danger. In Mojo's observatory, a teenage Jojo co-pilots his father via a control panel monitor, handling a Blossom action figure. So I guess Jojo has a crush on Blossom, I guess is the thing. Yes, morning's Kyak. You like jazz? You like jazz? Mercenary says, if you don't know how to cook, that won't work. If you really want to impress women, like if you really want to get a woman to look at you and being like, whoa, you learn how to cook. Even if it's just one dish, learn how to cook something. You'll be surprised how much women appreciate that. So I guess Jojo has a crush on Blossom, apparently. Dad, easy on Blossom, remember? I got this, Jojo. Back on. The girl's trying to subdue Swampy, as few anti-Powerpuff Girl protesters gather below. One throws a Slurpee. Buttercup goes red hot and flies up to the jackass. I will honestly end you. The people cower in fear as Mojo blasts at Blossom again. Guys, a little help? We're working on it, says Bubbles. Mojo blasts another laser at Swampy, hitting him in the arm. And the building behind him, concrete debris rains down. Blossom catches the falling pieces in both arms, looking to her sisters for help. But hung-over Bubbles can barely handle Swampy, and Buttercup's fighting with protesters. Desperate, Blossom kicks a third piece of debris out of the air, but it ricochets a lamppost, exploding into fragments. Mojo's robot is riddled with shrapnel as it falls to the ground. In Mojo's lab, Jojo is speechless. His eyes water. Dad? Above the robot, Blossom sees blood on the inside panel. Blossom and Buttercup join her. Blossom begins to hyperventilate, having a full-blown panic attack. A newscaster sits beside a news banner, a Townsville divided. So it looks like Mojo's dead now. Mojo is dead now, apparently. The script, Green, was written by... Okay, so we're on page 9. The script was written by Diablo Cody and Heather Regnier. Diablo Cody, I heard, wrote some other kind of CW show that wasn't very good as well. That's what I heard. Newscaster. In the wake of Mojo's death, a once fringe group of anti-Powerpuff Girls activists have gained massive popularity in Townsville. Their goal, to banish the Powerpuff Girls. The news cuts to footage of the mayor holding the press conference, surrounded by angry anti-Powerpuff protesters. Mayor, due to public safety concerns, the Powerpuff Girls have been outlawed from fighting in Townsville. The protesters cheer wildly as Bubbles and Buttercup watch on TV under a blanket together. Buttercup says, I'd better check on Blossom. Professor Utonium's house. Buttercup enters Blossom's room. Buttercup says, Bloss? The bed is empty and made. Empty drawers are open. Looks like she ran away. See a tear-stained Blossom flying as fast as she can through an overcast sky, a suitcase strapped to her back. A now furious Buttercup bursts angrily out the front door and is immediately swarmed by news cameras. Bleep you all and bleep Townsville. The Powerpuff Girls are done. This was just the teaser? This was just the teaser? We're not even on Act 1 yet. What? What? Y'all, I'm grabbing a drink. Okay. All right. Act 1. Smoke billows from the first floor of a house. Narrator. After Blossom ran away to build a new life for herself, Buttercup and Blossom followed suit. On the second floor, a window opens. Adult Buttercup, wearing firefighter gear, leaps out the window with a little boy in her arms. They fly down 20 feet and land gently. Narrator. Enraged by the ignoble end of the Powerpuff Girls, Buttercup sought anonymity. She moved to a small town in Oregon, shortened her name to B, and they could technically all shorten their names to B. They all begin with B. And joined the fire department, convincing herself that she could be happy as a normal human hero. Little boy, I thought you guys used ladders. Buttercup says, if anyone asks, I did. Then can't help herself. Want to see me put the fire out with magic ice breath? Little boy nods, excited. As Buttercup inhales, another firefighter comes around the side of the house with a hose. Buttercup says, maybe next time. Ooh, maybe next time. Oh, guys, remember she used to be able to do that thing? Remember she used to be able to do it? Here we are. Exterior Hollywood Boulevard. Night. See you on a license plate. Bubbles 1. Affixed to a baby blue Corvette. Adult Bubbles. Still wearing her signature pigtails. Pops the trunk. It's full of Powerpuff Girls merch and a price list. Selfies, $20. T-shirts, $30. Selfie and shirt, $45. Bubbles went to Hollywood, hoping to capitalize on her childhood fame. Narrator continues. After 2 stints in rehab and 3 failed reality show pilots, she had pivoted to direct sales. Now, don't forget, y'all, I said this earlier, but there's new people now in the stream. Tom Kenny is returning as narrator in this show. So I want y'all to imagine, read this one here. I want y'all to imagine Tom Kenny in his Tom Kenny voice saying, after 2 stints in rehab. Go ahead, y'all. Imagine that real quick. I am drinking Dr. Pepper Zero Cherry. Very good, very good. I would drink beer, but I've got work in a couple hours. Because trust me, this would work well with a beer. We've been streaming for an hour already, y'all. Bubbles announces herself to a pack of passing tourists. I'm Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. The real Bubbles, unlike that Bobo knockoff Wonder Woman. Fake Wonder Woman, who looks really fake, turns and sticks out her tongue at Bubbles as the tourists flock to her. College lecture hall, day. Blossom sits at a lecture hall, taking notes. As for Blossom, she attended an elite women's college in Northeast, collecting degrees to cocoon herself from the harsh sting of the real world. It was effective. She spots a Powerpuff tattoo on the bicep of a classmate. Narrator says, most of the time. Here we go. This is it. 2021. When did this last one take place? It didn't even say. So are they going to be wearing masks? Are they going to be wearing masks in the show? Blossom's apartment. Are you kidding me? After all that money that they made being the Powerpuff Girls, she doesn't even have enough to buy her own house? Or did Professor Utonium keep all of it? And how does she afford an apartment? Does she have a job? Or is she getting a college loan? Could you imagine Blossom or Bubbles or Buttercup working a job? Blossom joins her adorable boyfriend Clive for breakfast. As Blossom enters, he puts a birthday hat on her head, smiling. Narrator. After a decade of school, Blossom got a job at a Boston area biotech firm where she met her boyfriend Clive. This morning they're celebrating her 25th birthday. They're as old as I am. That's kind of scary. Which is technically tomorrow. But tomorrow, Blossom has some out-of-state business to attend to. Ding! A reminder text from Spirit Airlines pops up on Blossom's phone. She's flying Spirit? Come on, Blossom. You could fly Delta or anybody but Spirit. What stream did you come from, Alchemy Chan? I saw Shadow Streak was doing it. I like Dr. Pepper, but I'm trying to kind of not really go on a diet, but I'm trying to not be as unhealthy. So I'm doing the zero. The Dr. Pepper Zero is new, actually. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Spirit Airlines. It's time to check in for your flight to Townsville, departing tomorrow at 8 a.m. Why do you need a plane? Blossom, you can fly. Guys, can we go back? Can we go back? Right. We're talking about Blossom, right? Blossom Utonium soars up into flame. Blossom can fly. Look, fly is in all caps. Blossom can fly. And now here we are. Ding! A reminder text from Spirit Airlines pops up on Blossom's phone. It's time to check into your flight to Townsville, departing tomorrow at 8 a.m. She shudders. I don't want to go to Townsville. Clive rubs her shoulder and warmly as he pours her coffee. After this weekend, you never have to again. Once you sign that document and collect your trust fund, you're free. Besides, you've been so excited to see your sisters after all this time. Blossom, maybe I waited too long. I've been so MIA. Buttercup and Bubbles talk all the time. Buttercup even went out to see Bubbles' one-woman show, Bubbles with a Chance of Bubbles. Okay. Clive says, Babe, you had a messed up childhood that culminated in a traumatic event. It's like your therapist says. You need to go out and make your own way in the world for the sake of your mental health. Blossom says, I hope I don't have a panic attack while I'm there. Clive, if you do freak out, just do that exercise Dr. Pat taught you. Blossom nods. Right. Visualizing my inner child. She gazes into the middle distance where her childhood self magically appears, waving to her reassuringly. Thanks for being amazing, Clive. I love you. Ding, another text, this time from Bubbles to both Buttercup and Blossom. It says, Happy birthday Eve, my BBs. See you tomorrow. Blossom, soothed by her conversation with Clive, grins and texts back. Can't wait to see you guys, seriously. After a beat, Buttercup texts back, me 3. Has Craig said anything about this yet? Not that I know of. But he might, actually. He might have. You know, he does post a lot on his Twitter, actually. So if y'all give me a second, I can find out. Let me look at his Twitter. He hasn't posted anything in 20 hours. Which, the leak hasn't even come out. The leak hasn't even been leaked for 20 hours yet. So if he posts something, it'll be soon. And that's if he decides to address it. Because keep in mind, he never even addressed the 2016 Powerpuff Girls reboot. So, he might not never do it. Clive says, it's going to be super fun. Government building to establish. Day. Jojo. Damn it, straight to hell, Gina. Jojo, now also in his 20s, sits in a well-appointed office. A plaque on his desk reads, Jojo Model, Mayor of Townsville. Oh. He reads through a report in front of his secretary, Gina, who is now 50. He has a pet monkey sitting on his desk. Gina says, this is just initial polling data. You've got time to pull ahead. Unlike our prodigal Powerpuffs, says the narrator, Mojo's son, Jojo, stayed in Townsville. Indeed, his dedication to the city had carried him all the way to public office. He was the youngest person ever elected mayor of Townsville. Unfortunately for him, a second term looks unlikely. Jojo says, I've delivered on everything I promised, except free Gelato Fridays, and that's only because the perfect scoop turned out to be a front for meth trafficking. Alicia Lawrence has no experience. She's impulsive and reactionary. She's exciting. Jojo says, you mean she's not a white man? She's not a white man. I don't know. I don't get this. I don't know if y'all have noticed. There's been like a recent, like... It's been like a very recent thing that in like the social circles of like... I don't know. Like there was a whole thing about it too with, what's her name? She was a very popular YouTuber. She ended up getting her own talk show, where one of the things she talked about was like toxic white men and boring white men and all this stuff. And now it seems to be seeping into other forms of media as well, such as TV shows and news. And it's getting exhausting. It's getting exhausting. Yeah, this is very corny pyrotechnic. Drake being Professor's first name came from the Powerpuff Girls anime? Oh, it did it? See, I never watched the dub. I only watched the Japanese version. You know, you hear about reverse discrimination, but until it happens to you, no offense, you totally earned your position. Optics don't hurt enough. Okay. Jojo. There is one thing people love more than virtue signaling, Gina. Frozen desserts of Italian origin? Let's read that one again. I think that was a joke. Let's see if any of you guys laugh. There's one thing people love more than virtue signaling, Gina. Frozen desserts of Italian origin? Any of y'all laughing out there? I think that was a joke. I think that was a joke. Jojo says, no, security, safety, and I can provide that. Jojo feeds his monkey a treat. Gina, with all due respect, Mr. Mayor, Townsville is a candy-colored bubble of privilege and comfort. Ever since the creature's attacks stopped, we're one of America's safest cities. I don't think people are voting from a place of fear. Jojo, what about my pet monkey? That was meaningful in the last election. Really? Post Harambe, no one cares anymore. Post Harambe, no one cares anymore. Jojo says, I need to read through all this. Go ahead and knock off for lunch. Gina, one more thing. The Powerpuff Girls are coming to town tomorrow. The color drains from Jojo's face. He's shaken. Tomorrow? All three? Just for the weekend. The Gazette called, asking for a comment. Tell Frank I said no comment. That'll be all. Gina nods, exits. As Jojo mulls all of this over, his monkey screeches. It gives Jojo an idea. He picks up his cell, pulls up a contact. Short stack. Hesitates for a moment, then dials. I need you. Exterior, Townsville Airport curb or Uber pickup day. No, they're getting in an Uber? They're getting in an Uber. You're the Powerpuff Girls. Fly. Why are you getting in an Uber? Buttercup exits with her duffel. We see Bubbles with her suite of luggage in line for an Uber. She's accompanied by a middle-aged guy with a camera. She spots Buttercup heading over. Bubbles, here she comes, starts filming. Start filming. Buttercup, happy birthday, Betch. Betch. Look. They wrote that in there. They wrote the the accent. Because betch is bitch with a bit of just an accented slant. It's betch. So it's a happy birthday, betch, like that. But they wrote betch. Okay. They hug happily until Buttercup notices the cameraman. What's with Al Maisles? Al Maisles. Maybe the L is silent? Al Maez? I don't know. Does he work for Bravo? No, I'm making a tasteful doc about my comeback/solo career, which starts with capturing our reunion. Which is kind of a big D. Oh, and this is my manager, Ace. Look at. Hey. Hey. That's his dialogue. Imagine being cast as Ace and you get the script. And this is your line. Hey. Do you think he had trouble with that line, guys? Do you think while he was in the middle of his scene, like, prep it up, do you think, like, in the middle of the scene he was, like, stressed out? Line? Hey. Oh, that's right. Hey. Buttercup, when you say reunion, to be clear, you mean, like, our personal reunion, because I'm not... Bubble says, you're not interested in a pre-team or a reboot of the Powerpuff Girls. I know. Even though America would go rip shit bonkers for it. Ace says, they would. So, hey, and they would. There it is. Does he have any other lines? He's got this one here. That's it. I'm glad we were able to really get this character, this character here. Buttercup affectionately strokes one of Bubbles' pigtails. You haven't changed it at all. Bubbles winks. Gotta stick to the character Bible. They smirk, but the looks they exchange are poignant. Bubbles, Buttercup, and Ace ride in the back of an Uber. They pass the old Welcome to Townsville billboard, which now says Jojo Mondale, Mayor, with a smiling photo of Jojo. Buttercup says, so Mojo's John is the mayor now. Bubbles says, remember what a huge crush he had on Blossom? Weird kid. Hey, you know who we should go see while we're here? Sarah. She was always so great to us. Buttercup says, Dad blew that one. I guess they broke up. Yeah, now he just dates rando beaker bunnies and science hoes. Buttercup looks out the window and sees Townsville Gifts, a shop still selling Powerpuff Girls souvenirs. Buttercup, look, they rejected us, but they're still hawking our merch. Pathetic. We put this town on the map, like the aliens in Roswell. Okay? Buttercup, or the witches in Salem. Oh, guys. The car turns onto their childhood street. I can't believe Blossom is coming. She's been a total ghost aside from the obligatory holiday texts. Ace has the best dialogue in the script. Yes, he does. What a powerful character. What would we have done without him? Yeah, it's probably only because Dad made it mandatory for us to be here, IRL, to access the trusts. So what are you going to do with the money? Buy a little cabin? Rescue a few schnoodles or doodles? Rescue a few schnoodles or doodles. I'm not a total cliche, then I'm going to have chickens too. Bubble says, what the Z-lumpkins? I see what you did there. It wasn't funny, but I see what you did there. We see a mob of people gathered near the Powerpuff Girls' childhood house. Some are press. Some carry signs that say things like no violence in Townsville. A scant few are fans. Buttercup, Dad alerted the press. The sisters get out of the Uber. The small crowd surrounds them, yelling questions. Are you here to start trouble? Journalist, are the Powerpuff Girls reteaming? Hell no, I'm not caping up for Townsville ever again. I'm here to collect a debt, then I'm out. Bubble says, throttle down, Boo, your Chem X is showing. Who is this? Reveal a cute little girl standing by the door. Hello, I'm Henrietta. I'm a huge fan. Blossom is my favorite. But all of you are feminist icons. Bubble says, thank you, cutie. Henrietta, can I have a hug? Bubbles leans down to hug Henrietta. Bubbles notices a large furry caterpillar on Henrietta's shoulder, arcing up towards Bubbles' ear. She instinctively swats the caterpillar into the bushes. Henrietta bursts into tears in full panic. That was my pet Gloria. Buttercup begins to mumble an apology as, Daddy, Bubbles says. Camera shutters click as Drake opens the door to greet his daughters. Bubbles hugs him. Ace films. Girls. Buttercup strides past Drake inside the house. Professor Utonium's house. Same. As Drake shuts the door behind Buttercup and Bubbles. Dad, why'd you call the press? Bubbles gonna freak out. And the last thing we need is another crack in the bell jar. Blossom's fine. I saw her on Insta that she has a boyfriend. I saw on LinkedIn that she got promoted. And I saw on Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences. Coming back here is probably triggering for her. Why? Because she's the one who killed Mojo? I mean, MoveOn.org. OC, we hear a chair squeak. Oh, that's off screen. That's off camera. We hear a chair squeak. It's Blossom sitting at the kitchen table. Awkward. Ace turns to Drake, extends his hand. Here it is. Here it is, y'all. I'm Ace. Virgo management. There it is. Best character. Best character. Blossom, come here. Buttercup and Bubbles come in for a long, strong group hug. Drake watches them pleased. Then he turns to Ace, who has temporarily lowered his camera to observe the reunion. You getting this? What a scumbag. His daughters reunite for the first time in years. His own daughters. And here he is. Hey, you getting this? You getting this shot? What a dick. The sisters sit on one side of the dinner table. Drake on the other. The room is full of birthday balloons. Ace films. I can't believe you girls are 25. Wow, the 3Bs back in Townsville. It'll be nice to catch up, huh? Blossom is looking at the red phone on display in a glass case, like a museum piece. She starts downing a glass of wine. Yes, and it'll be nice to collect the money when we sold our childhoods for. When do we sign? You loved being a Powerpuff Girl. It's not like we had a choice. Bloss, you loved it. You were always the first one out the door when that alarm went off. Ah, yes, the alarm. I'm sure there's no use for it now. That the scariest thing in Townsville is Hobby Lobby. What is your hate against Hobby Lobby? I like Hobby Lobby. Actually, I didn't want to bring this up yet, but I have a reason to believe that a darkness may be returning. Dad, you don't mean like monsters. Blossom begins to hyperventilate. It's a panic attack. I think the city may need the Powerpuff Girls again. Off, Blossom, losing consciousness. Bloss? In an apartment, we see Henrietta seated at a child-sized desk. She repairs the woolly bear caterpillar we saw. Buttercup swat away earlier. The caterpillar is a robot. Reveal there are hundreds of robot pillars crawling around the room. Henrietta cranks the volume on her record player. "Hey, turn it down," says a neighbor off screen. Henrietta, "Sorry, Mr. Carruthers." Henrietta pushes one of her woolly bears through a wall vent. Mr. Carruthers watches UFC on his couch. The woolly bear emerges from his vent and traverses across the couch cushions before crawling into his ear. Mr. Carruthers shakes his head at first, then quickly settles into his new normal, a strange yellow glint in his eyes. Glowworm continues to play faintly as we... End of Act 1. End of Act 1. I don't know about you guys. I'm on the edge of my seat. I am excited for Act 2 and the rest of the season. Powerpuff Girls home. Kitchen floor. Night. Blossom's out cold. Bubbles and Buttercup hover over her. Buttercup, Bloss, wake up or we'll leak your nudes everywhere. Bubbles' confusion. That worked on you once. Bubbles nods, remembering, then thinks, closes her eyes. Bubbles grew up in a small town, and when the rain would fall down, I'd just stare out my window. Blossom, please, not break away. Bubbles, it's working. Buttercup, dreaming of what could be, and if I'd end up happy, I would pray. I could break away. I'm guessing they're doing a song. Blossom, okay, I'm up. Buttercup, too late. Bubbles and Buttercup, so pitchy and passionate. I'll spread my wings, I'll learn how to fly, I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. That song's kind of familiar. The girls interrupted the Monster Mash playing downstairs off their confusion. Now we're in Drake's lab at night. The sisters find Drake dancing in front of a PowerPoint, eating a Go-Gurt. He accidentally drips some on his shirt. Sorry, girls, I have a condition where if I see someone faint, I faint. So I had to grab some sugar. Notices the Go-Gurt stain. Now, would you look at that? Take a seat, please. I made cocoa. Bubbles happily sits. Buttercup and Blossom take a beat. Buttercup, damn. Blossom, I do love that cocoa. Drake says, and I love family time. Drake shuts the door with a remote as the girls sit. On the PowerPoint, a graph with various squiggly lines. Drake, as you girls may or may not know, I've been monitoring supernatural evil activity here in Townsville ever since you left. Mostly, it's a lot of dead ends and conspiracies, until this morning I saw this. Drake pulls up a picture of a missing kitten, posted on Nextdoor. Blossom squints, Buttercup rolls her eyes. Bubbles, so cute, I want it in a frame. Drake says, sorry, wrong thread. Bear with me. Types for a moment. Here we go. Drake pulls up another Nextdoor thread. It's titled, Is Anyone Else's Internet Fucked? With several complaints below. Buttercup, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. My dear Buttercup, it's not what, but the why. I investigated, and the provider's not to blame. There's no explanation for why this cluster of people in a 2-block radius doesn't have working internet, except for a mysterious, unusual concentration of high-frequency technology nearby, suggesting the evidence of a secret, evil laboratory. Bubbles gasps with excitement. Buttercup rolls her eyes. Buttercup, that might be scary if you didn't say it like the cruise ship MC. Drake says, the reach of the outage suggests some pretty heavy-duty tech. So, I didn't want to get too close. Undermanned, or should I say undergirled. Buttercup says you shouldn't. Blossom says, so you want us to see if there's an evil lab, based on a thread from Nextdoor about spotty internet. Drake says, Buttercup, and you're sure this evidence isn't something you staged in order to drum up a comeback for us? Honey, you think I'd lie to you? Yes, you lie all the time. Remember when you let that colossal gopher out during sweeps? Drake says, that was one time. We were in a ratings hole. Buttercup says, and we ended up in a literal hole created by a giant gopher who tried to kill us with a tree trunk. Drake says, now that was good TV. Buttercup says, okay, well, I'm going to pass. Blossom says, same. Drake pouts. Bubbles stands up, turns to her sisters. Guys, how can you turn down an evil recon mission? Especially when said mission would make a perfect storyline for my documentary, Bubbles is Back. Buttercup says, not to be confused with your other film, Bubbles on Her Back. Bubbles, come on, it'll be fun. Plus, we haven't hung in decades. I really miss us. Please. They really wrote, look at this, they really wrote, please, with like all these E's. That's like, you see that in a text message, not an official script. Yeah, I know who Shadow Streak is. Where was I? Buttercup's warned by this sentiment, but plays it cool. We do have a day to kill before we get our monies, and maybe there'll be something for me to beat up. Bubble says, totally. Blossom? Evil Recon Mish? The sisters look to Blossom. She looks away, ashamed. Blossom. I think I'm just going to take a nap. Buttercup rolls her eyes. Bubbles takes a deep breath. Grew up in a small town. Buttercup, forget it, Bubs. Let her have her boring phone sex with her pasty boyfriend. Drake. Girls, don't fight. How about Buttercup goes with Bubbles and Blossom stays with me? We haven't had any QT since you got home. Quiet time, I think that is. Blossom shuts her eyes, takes a deep breath. When she opens them, she sees young Blossom examining chemicals in the BG. Young Blossom, you can do this. It's just Dad. Blossom eyes Gogurt stain on Drake's shirt. Cut to Blossom's rental car. Blossom drives. Buttercup's in front, Bubbles in the back, with Ace examining Drake's stats on the iPad while Ace films. Okay, so this potent evil lab Dad found is somewhere between Donut Thing and the volcano. Oh, that's interesting. Buttercup. No, it's not. No one cares. Bubbles explaining to camera. The Cano's owned by Rowdy Rough Boys, 3 brothers who were failed spin-off versions of us. So they call the volcano the Cano. Okay. Except they had no superpowers and they all got Lou Pearlman. So they don't have superpowers in this? If Rowdy Rough Boys turned evil in hopes of rebooting their franchise and we stop them, then maybe Townsville will want us back. Blossom exhales deeply. Buttercup turns towards Bubbles. Buttercup says, Bubba, let me tell you something. When we got outlawed by Townsville for accidentally killing a madman and then unceremoniously ditched by Blossom, I was pissed. Blossom shifts her seat, guilty and annoyed at the dig. Buttercup continues, but it forced me to reevaluate my life, and I realized how exhausted I was defending myself against misogynist morons and pretending I was straight for the cameras. It was fun, but when it was about fighting baddies, but it changed. Blossom says, mostly to herself, yeah, it did. Bubbles, not really listening. Do you guys think Jojo would do an interview for my documentary? Buttercup, I don't think he would because of that whole we killed his dad thing. Bubbles, Bloss, maybe you can ask for me. I bet he's still obsessed with you. Blossom says he was never obsessed with me. Buttercup, yeah he was, and I bet he still is, in a kinky, angry way. Ooh, that's a good space. Talking about a parking lot? What kind of Powerpuff Girls is this? So this is the live-action CW script that is now in the works of being rewritten because this apparently is so bad. The Volcano Day. An American dive bar. Buttercup, Blossom, and Bubbles, and Ace enter to find the volcano popping. A picture of the Rowdy Rough Boys, Brick, Boomer, and Butch hangs on the wall. Buttercup says, Butch, Butch, now super hot. Look at now a super hot bartender is in all caps. Gives Buttercup and Blossom big hugs. Butch gets to Bubbles and frowns, standoffish. Bubbles says, "Where's my hug?" Isn't he evil? Maybe he's not evil in this? I don't know. Maybe he's not evil in this. Butch says, "Last time I saw you, you broke off our engagement and told me you'd pawned the ring for drugs." So I guess Butch engaged to Bubbles. Bubbles says, "Was that you?" Buttercup elbows her. Buttercup says, "Have a drink with us. We're never here and we never will be again." Butch says, "Okay, one shot." Bubbles says, "O'Doul's for me, please. Thank you." Look at why the U's? You just look when writing a script, you just put this, okay? Then it's up to the director to say, okay, when you say this line, you know, or you can put in a parenthesis here and put a director's note. You don't do this. This is like a child, like a 4-year-old sending a text message. Like this is this is not a professional script for you to put "thank you" with 3 U's. This is not, no, you don't do that. See this? Smiles, relents. You do that for these as well. You don't put multiple like this. No. Where are we? Butch leaves to grab them drinks. Buttercup makes eyes with a hot girl across the bar, Macy. Boss says, "Are we here to investigate?" But Buttercup says, "I'm here to pick up bi-curious townies. You're here to avoid Drake." Bubbles is here to investigate, but she forgot Butch hates her. Luckily, we're dealing with another hate boner, so alcohol helps. Blossom, why do you know so much about hate boners? Buttercup, life is one big hate boner. I wish this was alcoholic. At a table, Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles. Let me get a napkin for this soda so I don't make a mess of this table here. Because the drink is starting to sweat a little bit. Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles, I almost said Bubblecup, throw back their shots. Buttercup continues, "Remember our 15th birthday at that weird honky-tonk?" Blossom says, "Yeah, Bubbles peed herself, you threw Carrot Top out the window, and Sarah picked us up at 3 a.m. Never told Dad." To see if anybody... I just hope they don't do this. This is pitiful. Yeah, they're definitely not going to do this anymore. They might do something else, but this, no. Where are we? "I can't believe they used to have sex. Can you imagine Drake? I bet he's so mechanical." Blossom, "and weirdly precise." Bubble says, "I bet he's generous." Are they talking about him having sex? Blossom, Buttercup throw napkins, trash at Bubbles. Blossom and Buttercup, "No, filth, not okay." All the sisters crack up. By the bar, the sisters kick back another round of shots. Bubbles flirts with Butch, who softens considerably. Bubbles nods to a door marked "Do Not Enter." Bubbles, "What's in there?" Butch, "It's top secret." Bubbles, "Like an evil laboratory?" Butch laughs it off, and Bubbles eyes the room, dying to get in. Other end of the bar. Blossom waits for a drink, watching a Bitmoji from Clive. Clive Bitmoji, "Call me, I love you." Look at, you don't do this in a script. Blossom smiles, puts her phone away, then notices young... Because look, anyway, hold on. Watching a Bitmoji from Clive. Are Bitmojis even automated? So this is a text message? Whatever. I'm tired of picking apart this damn script. Yeah, I don't know what's with the swearing. I don't know. Blossom smiles, puts her phone away, then notices young Blossom on a bar stool beside her, sucking down a Go-Gurt. Young Blossom, admit it, you're having fun. You always have fun when you're with them. Blossom takes in her surroundings, her sisters. She is having fun, as Blossom savors the moment. Carruthers, can I buy you a drink? Off screen. Young Blossom disappears. Blossom turns to find Henrietta's neighbor, Carruthers. Blossom smiles, tries to leave, but Carruthers pushes a stool in front of her with a loud scrape. I said, can I buy you a drink? What's with the double question mark? Okay. Buttercup notices Carruthers stepping up to Blossom as Blossom clocks the faint yellow glint in his eyes. Buttercup off screen. What's going on here? Carruthers turns to Buttercup, then looks back at Blossom. Carruthers, aren't you those Powderpuff girls? Look at Powderpuff. Buttercup, Powerpuff. No D, like you. Carruthers grabs Buttercup's arm. Blossom's eyes go wide. Blossom says, oh no. On Bubbles, making out with Butch against the wall, trying to inch her way close to the Do Not Enter room, just as Carruthers sails across the room, bursting through the Do Not Enter door. Bubbles peeks her head inside. It's a supplies closet filled with storage and pesticides. Buttercup and Blossom and Ace walk out. Butch physically carries out a flailing Bubbles. Bubbles says, stop, I'm an American treasure. Butch leaves. Bubbles hisses at him, turns to Buttercup. Bubbles says, dude, not cool. Buttercup says, what? He was a creep. And Blossie was full deer in the headlights. Blossom, his eyes had a weird glint. I was trying to suss them out. Buttercup says, what's there to suss out? His botched cataract surgery? Blossom, why do you keep coming at me? I get it, I screwed up. No, Bubbles screwed up, like constantly. You left. Blossom, I'm sorry, okay? What more do you want from me? Buttercup, I want the old Blossom. Buttercup becomes emotional. Bubbles nods to Ace to film. Look at, what is wrong? These are all awful people. You used to boss us around. You have a perspective and care. You were our leader, and now you're this weak, closed-off, mopey, Bubbles says, loser? Blossom, you know what I think? I think I'm the only one here that actually grew up, and neither of you can handle it. Because you're still beating people up in bars like you did when we were 15, and Bubbles is wearing knee socks on Hollywood Boulevard. Notices Bubbles filming. Bubbles, stop filming. Buttercup charges Bubbles and Ace to try to get them to shut the camera off. Bubbles steps to her, protecting the camera. Stop pouring out our lives. You guys bungled the investigation. Your dysfunction is all I have. Mr. Krabs, I heard some sailor talk. As Bubbles and Buttercup circle around each other, Blossom notices a razor-scooting charging station across the street. Blossom grabs the iPad from the car, checks Drake's numbers. Hey guys. Bubbles' eyes go frosty as she drops into her ice breath mode. Ice me and you're going to the dumpster, says Buttercup. Blossom. Guys, they look at her. I think this is an unusual concentration of high-frequency technology Drake was talking about. Blossom points to the razor scooters. Buttercup laughs. Oh my god, what is this script? Oh my god. What is this script? I have never seen this in a script before. Someone who was typing this? Oh my god. Someone typed that. Someone typed that while writing the script. Oh my god. And send. See, Bubs? He's a sad, lonely quack. Let's go. Buttercup heads to the car. Bubbles sighs, looks to Ace. Let's get some B-roll, I guess. Bubbles looks over Ace's shoulder as he films the charging station at the base of an apartment complex. 3 floors up, see a figure watching Bubbles and Ace from their window. Enter Henrietta's lair, night. Reveal Henrietta watching them. Her evil lair is directly above the charging station and is the source of energy that Drake identified. Henrietta turns back inside, surprised to find Jojo sitting in an armchair. I know he needs to come back with another powerful hey. That's what he needs to do. Ace needs to come back with a hey. That's what he needs to do. Do you break into the homes of all the little girls you hired to do your evil bidding? Jojo notices a woolly bear on his arm, flicks it off. Just the ones who've murdered their parents. Less red tape. How's the progress? Henrietta. You know, ups and downs. Jojo eyes Henrietta, less than thrilled with her response. The Powerpuff Girls collect their trust fund in 12 hours. That's how long you have to put the 3 of those little bugs in their brains so I can control their minds, make them throw a school bus of kids into a river. That's his plan, is to control their minds. Henrietta, and save the day, cementing your rejection. I know the playbook. Juge? Is that a typo, or is that her nickname for him? And I love it, aside from the saving kids part. But I just sent my boy Carruthers on a mission, and it was no bueno. Reveal Carruthers on Henrietta's couch, looking beat up. Henrietta, like a scolding dog. The mission was to try to get a bug in Blossom's ear, but instead we started a fight with Buttercup. Didn't we? To Jojo? I need more testing. Jojo, you have 12 hours. Or I make you eat every single one of these bugs, turn you into the FBI, and you become the youngest person to ever get executed in America. Got it? Henrietta is speechless, but clearly gets the message. Jojo heads for the door, tripping on a pair of shoes. He fears he looks stupid. He does, so he calls out angrily behind. 12 hours. End of Act 2. We are in Act 3 now, you guys. Act 3. Who's excited, huh? Alright. Into the Powerpuff Girls' home, Drake's lab, day. Bubbles films Drake as they dig deeper into Drake's theory. I don't see how I could be wrong. The evidence doesn't lie. Blossom enters, quietly helping herself to a coffee. No, but sometimes people do. Why would I lie about something like this? Because you want us to reunite, Dad. And you know that appealing to my sense of responsibility with this town in danger thing is the only way to get me on board. Bubbles, oh, speaking of dangerous, this crazy dude came for Blossom and Buttercup at the volcano. He had Scorpio energy, chaotic. We got it on a tape, want to see? We hear a loud bump upstairs. Blossom jumps. Pop flash to Carruthers scraping the stool, his menacing yellow eyes. Back to Blossom. What was that? As Bubbles pulls up the footage, Blossom silently exit. Drake watches her leave, turns to Bubbles. What did I do to drive her away? Bubbles, just now or in a micro sense? Or in a macro sense? Bubbles, not a day goes by that I don't regret my greatest failure. Japan is a tough market to crack. Are they talking about Powerpuff Girls Z? Come on. I'm not talking about the brand. I mean my mistakes as a father. Look, we love being the Powerpuff Girls, but sometimes we want to do other things too. We read this earlier in the stream. Like in Dirty Dancing, Baby wanted to join the Peace Corps, but she also wanted to be a fancy slut, and her dad didn't get it. Jerry Orbach was doing his best to understand. Blossom heads upstairs where bumping sound continues. Yeah. Then abruptly stops. Blossom opens the door to find Buttercup in bed with Macing, the woman she eyed at the bar last night before. They just finished. Oh God, I'm sorry. It's fine. We're done, right? I'd say 6 times is enough. Bubbles and Drake enter on Blossom's heels. Blossom, guys, no. To Bubbles and Drake, guys, no. Buttercup, it's fine. I'm not remotely ashamed. I'm just getting my life, people. And tonight, I finally get to access my trust, and I never have to come back to Clownsville again. Macy, what about me? You should come with me. 3-acre farm and chickens. Bubbles, quietly to Blossom, U-Haul.
How many acts are in this? I have no idea. We're going to find out together. I'm assuming maybe... shit, I have no idea. We're about halfway. We're on page 36 of 61. So maybe 6 acts, 5 acts? Maybe 5 acts. Okay. Drake, why are you acting like being raped? Like being here is torture. I didn't raise you like this. Buttercup, exactly. You raised us to be a franchise, not a family. We don't know how to be together without a shot list and a suggested dialogue. Bubbles, but remember how much fun we had when the cameras were off? Buttercup, when they were off? See Ace filming from the hallway. Blossom rolls her eyes. Blossom to Drake. When you're a kid, the stakes are supposed to be low. A kid should be worried about losing their lunch money or being picked last in PE. A kid should be worried about cat burglars or giant lizards or accidentally farting on TRL. Bubbles, Carson handled that well. There was always something scary around the corner. It wasn't normal, and we never had space to process it. Blossom continues. You said you created us because you always wanted to be a dad. So why not just make 3 little girls? Well, that would be kind of weird. Blossom shakes her head, frustrated with Drake's response. I'm late to acro yoga. It's kind of like flying. Macy says. Who cares about Macy? Buttercup. Oh, that's fun. Call me. Blossom. I'm out of here too. Bubbles. Right. You spent a total of 10 minutes with us and you're already a ghost. Where are you going? Blossom. Exiting. I need to talk to a human being who understands emotions. Drake. Offended. I'm a known homo sapien. Exit Cerebellum's house. Day. A charming bungalow. Blossom rings the doorbell. Cerebellum, now an attractive redhead in her 40s, answers the door. Sarah, delighted. Blossy, I didn't think you would actually come. Blossom says, hey, Sarah. Blossom meets Sarah for a hug. Blossom, you still wear the same perfume. Blossom and Sarah, Britney Spears' Circus Fantasy. This is going to be a mess. We're now at 21 viewers, y'all. I think that's the most... No, we had 25 earlier. Let's see if we can get to 30. See if we can get to 30 viewers. Enter Cerebellum's house. Same time. Blossom and Sarah sit in a cozy den. Drink tea and catch up. Sarah's demeanor is warm. She's an earthy big sister type. Sarah. You know, I was hoping to see all of you. Are my other bees just busy? Blossom. No, I really just needed to talk with someone one-on-one. When we're together, it's like we're suddenly kids again, and it just gets emotional. Yeah, I get it. You girls had a gnarly childhood. I used to fight with your dad about how much was expected of you. Blossom says, you always stood up for us. It's why I replied to your text and not his. Sarah, Drake really does care deeply about you guys. He just didn't want you to hide your light. He thought pushing you was a form of love. Blossom says, well, it didn't feel like it. And we were pushed and we were punished for his dream. Sarah says, it was your dream too. All 3 of you loved it. You just didn't have any agency or independence. That was his mistake. He's not a bad guy, Bloss. He can be enraging and oblivious. Trust me, I dated the man for 9 years. But he has a good heart. When he talked to me about you guys in private, it wasn't about fighting or flying. It was about all the real stuff he loved about you. Blossom says, really? It kind of sounds like you still love him. Sarah blushes as the tea kettle goes off. She gets up to fetch it as Blossom looks at her phone. Thinks, then types a text. Alright. Enter the Powerpuff Girls' home. Kitchen. Day. Bubbles and Drake sit at the kitchen table, still reviewing footage. They both wear sheet masks and are both flustered. Bubbles, okay, maybe everyone's internet works, but they are hallucinating that it doesn't because of something in the water. Or like aliens. Wait. On the footage, Bubbles spots Henrietta at the window. That's the same little girl we met in front of the house. Coincidence? Maybe we should look into her. Bubbles, she's like 10. So were you, back when many a villain made the mistake of underestimating my girls. Drake phone buzzes with a text. Drake's phone buzzes with a text? It's from Blossom. Very surprised, Drake opens it and smiles. Your sister texted me. She said we're still investigating to look out for a barfly's yellow eyes. Look at that. Progress. Maybe I can come back from this after all. You know, once I get my money today, we can use part of my cut to go deeper with our investigation. Drake looks guilty at the mention of the money. Right. I have to rinse. Gotta look fresh for the trust fund meeting. Bubbles skips out. Drake keeps looking at the Henrietta footage. Her face is stormy, mysterious, possibly evil. Possibly evil, guys. The only thing I have to say about this, Miss Bellum's back. So we had a scumbag character and religious stuff, like we have them serious. Live action script. What did you miss, Bugs Bunny? So far, when they were kids, they accidentally end up killing Mojo, which now Mojo Jojo is now two people. Mojo is a guy and Jojo is the son. They ended up killing Mojo, which caused the girls to split. Now, many, many years later, the girls are reunited. Jojo, the son, is now the mayor of Townsville. Professor Utonium and Miss Bellum were together at one point, but now they've split. The girls are all finally back together. And they're trying to investigate some stuff that's going on with this girl named Henrietta, who is working with Jojo. And yeah, pretty much it. We're almost done with the script, though. We're at page 40 of 61. Henrietta, surrounded by empties of monster energy, builds more woolly bears. Jojo bursts in, impatient. Time's up, Henny. They're not ready. I don't care. Show me what you've got, the main event. Henrietta pulls out a box and opens the lid, revealing 3 special woolly bears. 1 blue, 1 pink, 1 green. These designed specifically to target them and accept their mimes. Blue for butt, and she says, yeah, got it. Jojo snatches the bugs from Henrietta, opens the window, and lets the woolly bears crawl out. An upbeat Bubbles gets ready. Makeup and accessories are scattered all over the vanity. The blue woolly bear appears on her windowsill. Bubbles pulls a blue beanie that covers her ears and holes for her pigtails to emerge. Bubbles says, that's cute. Ski bunny mood. The woolly bear looks perplexed. As Blossom approaches the house, she notices the pink woolly bear crawling up her arm. She frowns, picks it off, and places it on a leaf. The woolly bear falls off the leaf and into a puddle where it short circuits. Wow. Buttercup is about to take a sip of black coffee when she sees the green woolly bear coiled around the tip. She yelps, flick it down the drain, and turns around the garbage disposal. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup sit on the couch across from an attorney, Larry, as Drake stands anxiously in the corner. Larry is a typical cheap TV lawyer. He organizes papers from the briefcase. Ace films. Everyone sits in silence. So I'm assuming the blue woolly bear got in Bubbles, perhaps? Alright. Haven't I seen you on the bus bench, says Buttercup. Larry says, I suppose we're both famous. So, we're looking at about 5 apiece, right? Drake watches the girls. Bubbles pulls her beanie up from her ears, hoping she heard correctly. We see the blue woolly bear crawling around the couch, headed for Bubbles' ear canal. Bubbles, 5 million? No way. 500,000? I mean, that feels low, but Larry says 5,000. Bubbles says, come again, what? Look, this isn't easy for me to say. I saw how hard you girls worked, how brave you all were, and all this, and I wanted to maximize your earnings, so I made some investments. What did you invest in, Dad? Well, real estate in 2008, and then fidget spinners. Have you guys heard of Cronuts? The money's gone, and you knew about it, and you knew it, and you knew it. Look at this, look at this, look at this, and you knew it about it. Why did you make us come here? Because I miss you and I love you. So the evil lab thing was a lie. No, I truly believe disaster is imminent. Buttercup, because you are mentally ill. This is why I don't call or visit. She picks up a vase. Drake instinctively ducks and cowers. I'm sorry, Buttercup. Buttercup hauls off with the vase as if to throw it when a chair crashes through the window. Reveal Bubbles, Hulk level furious, is the one who threw the chair. What about me? Oh, so my theory was right. It did take over Bubbles. As she angrily gesticulates, she unwittingly flings off the woolly bear. Oh, it hasn't done yet. Larry drops the briefcase and runs. The woolly bear heads for Bubbles again, crawling up her leg. I always believed in you, Dad, even when you sold away our likeness to the cartoon, which, by the way, totally whitewashed us. I talked about that earlier. I don't get that one. Even then, I had your back. I always had a smile on my face. I never broke character, even though there was so much more to me. I always put my family and the team first, no matter what. Sweetie, Drake tries to stop Bubbles as she heads for the jagged hole where the window used to be. Drake put his hand on her arm. I'm out of here. It's relapse time. And the woolly bear crawls from Bubbles onto Drake and into his ear. Uh-oh. Bubbles flies out the window, a blue streak into the sky. Buttercup glares at Drake and flies after her. Blossom, you stole my childhood. Because of you, I killed Mojo and it ruins my life. Do you even care? Drake is silent. We see a moment of yellow glint in his eye, but Blossom doesn't see it. Blossom says, cool, got it. I never want to see you again. End of Act 3. So now we're on Act 4. He says, funny, I didn't know fidget spinners were still a thing in 2021. Well, they're not. And I think that was what the thing was, because he made a huge investment in fidget spinners, and I guess it didn't take off. So he ended up losing a lot of money. I guess is what that joke was that they put in there. A close-up of a man's mouth. Bubbles Utonium, says a police officer. On Bubbles in a holding cell, she opens her bloodshot eyes, plastered with sleep. She sits up, looking rough. Reveal Ace, beside an officer and outside a cell. He gives Bubbles a brief, compassionate wave. Bubbles stumbles towards him as they walk down the highway. Bubbles vomits. Ace pats her back. Ace, I got a great shot of you freeing all those snakes from the zoo. They were legless lizards, Ace. Spits out the last bit. Not that it matters. Powerpuff Girl's house, kitchen, day. Blossom finishes her coffee, sets up the coffee by the sink. Stay in the kitchen to reveal a mangled green woolly bear, the one Buttercup disposed earlier, crawl out of the sink. Blossom opens the front door when she hears a phone ring. She stops, looks inside at the red phone. But wasn't it unplugged? Blossom walks over to it. It stops ringing. Confused, Blossom goes upstairs, passing the green woolly bear, now crawling up the banister. Enter Buttercup's room. Blossom tiptoes to Buttercup's side of the bed. Macy's asleep. Buttercup's Googling backpacking trips on her phone. Blossom, did you hear a phone ring? Buttercup, yeah, it was a house line. How far do you think $5,000 can get me? Buttercup speaks as she types. Direct flights to Peru. I know it's stupid, but I can't stop thinking about that creepy guy in the bar, those yellow eyes. Buttercup, he probably has liver disease. Look, this spidey sense you're feeling right now, it's the part of you that would like to believe there's evil in town, because that means maybe Dad's not a pathological liar, but you know, Occam's razor. Bubbles enters in sunglasses. Buttercup covers her nose as the green woolly bear crawls along Buttercup's wall towards her bed. Bubbles, yeah, I stink. Thank you for your compassion. I'm going back to LA now. I'll FaceTime you at Christmas if I'm still alive. Clothes on, the woolly bear crawling into an ear canal. Oh no, did it finally get Buttercup? Pull back to reveal. Macy springing out of the bed, possessed. She grabs the bedside table lamp and smashes it on Buttercup's head. Then turns toward Blossom, flashing her yellow ears. How did it miss its target? Oh my god, yellow eyes. Macy throws down the bookcase. Bubbles attacks her, but Macy manages to duck and throw Bubbles into a wall. Bubbles tries to shake off the blow as Macy lifts up the bedside table, about to smash it over Bubbles' head, when Buttercup kicks Macy's legs out from under her. Macy falls. When Buttercup kicks Macy's legs out from under her. Okay. Macy falls, hitting her head on a desk chair, and causing the green woolly bear to fly out of her ear. Macy groans. The girls stare at the green woolly bear in awe. Powerpuff Girls home, Drake's lab day. The Powerpuff Girls examine the woolly bear under a microscope. Blossom dissects it, revealing its wiring and square metal chip. Whoa, it's a robot? Magic. Well, robots and magic are not the same. But I guess that's Buttercup's or Bubbles' thing. I don't know. This is an AI chipset. The furry hairs on the outside are actually nanofibers intended to latch onto something. I'm guessing a brain. How do you know all that? I have a PhD in biotech. Clearly they don't know. Really? You guys don't know that? Psh, of course I knew that. Biotech, duh, nerd alert. Anyway, I think someone engineered these things for mind control. The guy at the bar, Macy, that's why their eyes had that weird yellow glint. They were possessed. Then realizing Dad was right, evil is back in Townsville. Bubble is stunned. Buttercup's still a little skeptical. So someone put this thing in Macy to get her to what? Attack us? Because that's a bunk plan. Blossom says, I don't know. This thing looks pretty damaged. Maybe it misfired. Dad and I were working on a theory. Buttercup, do you remember that girl we met outside our house, our biggest fan? The one with the pet caterpillar? Yeah, that was shady. And we spotted her in my dog footage outside the Kano watching us. I can't believe this. I really thought Drake made it all up. Like that mom who poisoned her kid for Disney tickets. So crazy. Like, think bigger. Suddenly, all three girls get Google alerts on their phone. Are you guys seeing this? What the? Blossom turns on the TV. A breaking news banner reads, Townsville erupts in riots, chaos. A newscaster reports. Newscaster, the riots started moments ago, the cause of which are still unknown. The girls are in shock as they watch news footage of citizens destroying Townsville. Match that footage to... Enter mayor's office. Continuous. The TV is on. Jojo looks in the mirror, deciding between the two ties, red or blue. Henrietta opens the window, surrounded by her woolly bear creations. Henrietta, just so I'm clear, now we're going to loose the woolly bears onto Townsville, let them crawl into people's brains, and turn the aggro-meter up to 10. Jojo, exactly. We needed a new plan after your idiot worms incepted the wrong Utonium. Then, after havoc ensues, I'll blame the entire thing on Drake. He'll confess via Woolly Bear that he's drunk with power, blah blah blah. I arrest him, save the day, and Townsville re-elects me mayor. Jojo continues, a fun bonus. Drake rots in prison, and maybe I get to console Blossom. With that, Jojo picks the red tie. Henrietta sadly watches her woolly bears leave the office out the window en masse. You guys having fun? I think the script is pretty boring, to be honest. Goodbye, Karen, Jared, Eric, Melania, Donald, Rudy Giuliani, Ted. Rudy Giuliani? Really? The girls kept watching TV as the news switches to a press conference. The banner below. Townsville erupts in chaos. Mind-controlling robots. Mayor Mundell speaks. Citizens under the control of these malicious robots are being forced to act violently towards each other. With no end in sight. I'm sad to say that I believe my late father was right. This appears to be the work of Professor Drake Utonium. What? Says Bubbles. On TV, news footage of Drake on a rooftop screaming, burn Townsville, all must pay. If you're looking for it, you can see his yellow eyes. Someone's setting him up. He needs us now. Off Blossom, overwhelmed and terrified by this call to duty. End of Act 4. End of Act 4. Act 5. The Powerpuff Girls drive toward town in a white Puff Mobile Sprinter van. Buttercup drives. Blossom is in front. Bubbles is in back. They pull it to the city center. Buttercup can't believe we didn't fly. I'm sorry. You know I can't get on a plane without a Xanax. Okay? But you can literally fly. Let's sidebar this. They get out of the car. We see anarchy in the streets. Cars on fire. Fights breaking out. They're all possessed. This is like the gathering of the Juggalos. You've been? I was paid to appear, says Bubbles. We get to Dad. We need to get to Dad. The girls keep taking it in. People are fighting, shouting, and destroying property. Fire hydrants have been opened, and there's water all over the streets. Nearby, Henrietta, unnoticed by the Powerpuff Girls, strolls through the insanity she's helped create. She spots the girls and picks up her phone, ducking into an alley. Enter the alley. Okay, they're here. You might want to make that arrest. Jojo is on the phone, exhilarated. All three of them, even Blossom? Yep, you'll get to see them kick and scream as their dad gets hauled off to jail. Just like you put on your vision board. Which you should never show anyone, by the way. The gold Lambo is cringe. This script is cringe. How are you going to use dialogue like, this is cringe? This script is cringe. Jojo smiles, taking in this moment. When his pet monkey screeches, Jojo frowns, his mood darkening. No, it's not enough. I can't squander this opportunity. What do you want me to do, Jojo? I want them to know how it feels to watch their father die. New plan. Uh-oh. The Powerpuff Girls head for Drake. On their way there, they kind of help and notice the mayhem. Bubbles stops. Guys, wait. What about all these people? They need us. Bubbles looks around, conflicted. Buttercup keeps moving, then turns when she sees Blossom and Bubbles haven't moved. Come on. Saving Dad's life, I get. But playing superhero again? Buttercup gestures to the fighting and ruin around them. Buttercup, these are the same normos that got us kicked out of here a decade ago. Why would we help them? Blossom sighs, conflicted. Bubbles sees her wavering. Blossom, you were the one who always said we should help people no matter what. Remember? You had the biggest, bravest heart of all three of us. That's why you were the leader. Blossom says, I was the leader because Dad said so. Buttercup says, that's not true. I was designed to be in charge. But your annoying type A ass claimed that role, has to admit, and you owned it. Bubbles, guys, I know everyone here rejected us for semi-misogynistic reasons, but Townsville is our home, and it's getting destroyed. We have to save it, and Dad. To Buttercup, this is our chance to show them that they were wrong about us. Buttercup looks around, taking it in. Look, I hate this town. I'm 50-50 on Drake, but I got a hard-on for mayhem that won't go down. What? I've got a hard-on for mayhem that won't go down. Okay. Bubbles smiles, looks to Blossom. She's shaking. No, I have done too much work in therapy to go there. I'm a grown woman now. I have degrees. I have a boyfriend and furniture in West Elm. I'm not a Powerpuff Girl. Blossom starts to have a panic attack, then runs off. Bubbles is about to take off after Blossom. Buttercup, we have to move on. But Bloss, we'll do it for her. We'll do it for her, okay? It's what she wants, even if she can't say it. She was always our conscience. Bubbles, and I was just the attention whore. Buttercup, hey, you were amazing. Bubbles nods, touched. They take off in the other direction. Possessed Drake is still standing on top of the rooftop. Bubbles and Buttercup observe from a safe distance. Okay, so when Macy hit her head, it drove the woolly out of her ear. We need to do something like that, but on a mass scale. Without, killing people. Right. Bubbles looks around. Her eyes land on a spa with an advertisement for laser hair removal. Her eyes light up. Electrolysis. Buttercup frustrated. I know you don't get an au naturel thing, but now is not the time. Bubbles flies to a telephone pole and rips a wire out of the pole, exposing its frayed end. Buttercup smiles, getting it. Oh, sick, we're going to fry them. Bubbles says, no, we're going to lightly shock them, even though it drives the bugs out, but not enough to drive the bugs out, but not enough to kill them. Look, they're all standing in the water. Help me grab that pole. They fly over to a telephone pole and begin to uproot it. At least they mentioned she can fly. Yeah, that's true. I read a part of the script that involves Buttercup threatening to send new pics of Blossom. Yeah, we read that earlier. And what's interesting about that is she admits to having priorly done that to Bubbles, or she admits to also threatening Bubbles about that, which means that Bubbles took nude photos because Bubbles actually got scared of that being a reality. I swear the only people who don't know who the Powerpuff Girls are people in charge of their reboots. Even Christian Bale knows who the Powerpuff Girls are. I wonder what Christian Bale thinks about this. That'd be funny. Blossom sits beside a dumpster doing breathing exercises. She closes her eyes and opens them, revealing young Blossom. Why are you hiding? I can't do this. I just want a normal life. I can't be the hero they want me to be. So to be the hero you want to be, do it on your terms. You don't have to wear a dress. You don't have to take Daddy's notes about being less bossy. You don't have to spend the rest of your life blaming yourself for Mojo. You just have to be true to yourself. Be the person you would have been if no one was telling you what to do. Blossom considers this. Young Blossom disappears. Suddenly, the ground trembles. Townsville City Center. Buttercup and Bubbles hold the telephone pole above the crowd. Just touch it to the water and the shock will spread. They lower the pole gingerly. A jolt of electricity surges through the teeming mass standing in the flooded streets. People are knocked out. Then suddenly, Bubbles says, look! Woolly bears are crawling and jumping out of people's ears. Bubbles and Buttercup are stoked, but then... Hello, Powerpuffs, reveal Henrietta on the top of the roof of the building, with Drake. The sisters are mid-air, holding the pole aloft. I have complete and total power over him. Right, Professor Quacktonium? Drake nods numbly. Bubbles, I knew you were a fake fan. Nobody's favorite is Blossom. It's not true. Even though I think my favorite was Buttercup as a kid. But I remember liking Blossom. Buttercup, look, I don't know what you want with our dad, but please, let's talk this out, girl to girl. You're not a girl. You're a boring grown-up who used to be cool. Hang it up and start with a book club. Bubbles, let's go off the pole. Let's go, Bubbles, let's go of the pole. Ready to save Drake, but with electric. Guys, it's electric, right? Electric, yeah? Pretty sure. I've seen that video of Bale singing the end of the Powerpuff Girls theme. Oh, okay. Bubbles, let's go of the pole. Okay. But with the electric current, it's too much for Buttercup alone. Buttercup. Bubbles. Bubbles sees Buttercup needs her and helps her with the pole before it crashes to the ground. But the sisters are stuck. I love the stuck. You couldn't just put stuck. It has to be stuck. Buttercup. We can't drop the pole. It'll kill them all. Henrietta. Let's go for a walk. Drake obediently walks to the edge of the building and falls off. Bubbles and Buttercup are helpless, holding the pole, screaming. End of Act 5. So this is where Blossom's going to come in, save Professor Utonium, blah, blah, blah. Drake plummets towards the ground. Buttercup screams. Bubbles watches in terror as Drake falls. Daddy. Drake drops faster and faster, 30 feet from the ground, then 20, then 10. When Blossom cuts through the air and scoots him up. Whoa, who could have guessed that was going to happen? What a plot twist. That's my bitch right there. Did the actress read this and say, hey, Buttercup wouldn't say this? I'm pretty sure. Even a 20-year-old, a 20 years older Buttercup wouldn't say, that's my bitch right there. That's your sister. Jojo watches from his window, furious. No. Blossom soaks up her hero moment. Sorry I'm late, Dad, but I had to make peace with an old... Drake slaps and scratches at Blossom, still possessed. Stop, ow, you are so annoying. Blossom lands on the street with Drake, his fist flying. Blossom punches him in the face. His woolly bear flies off his ear. Blossom stomps it as Drake moans on the ground. That was surprisingly cathartic. There's not too good at writing at the dialogue of the characters. No, they're not. Electricity and people do not mix. No, they don't. Shots fired at Blossom. What a twist, M. Night Shyamalan. Bubbles is stomping out all the woolly bears on the street when Blossom lands beside her. Bubbles gives her a hug. Blossie, you saved the day. Blossom, haven't heard that one in a while. Henrietta, my babies, my poor babies. Blossom and Bubbles turn to find Henrietta crouched in a puddle, mourning her woolly bears. Bubbles, stomping one. Oops. Henrietta smiles menacingly, slowly standing up. Henrietta, woolly bears, mount up! The busted woolly bears start to rise up and crawl towards Henrietta as she cackles maniacally, when suddenly Henrietta is electrocuted. Now he knows how to spell it right. And flies into a building, hard. Reveal Buttercup with a live wire behind her. The woolly bears slump, ineffectual without Henrietta's leadership. Bubbles. Bud, way too much. Buttercup is worried until Henrietta starts coughing. The girl sighed, relieved. Buttercup's eyes light up. Buttercup, not dead. Buttercup and Bubbles high five. Then they hear cheering. They turn to discover a massive crowd cheering for them. The sisters soak it up, feeling like they're real heroes again. We're almost done, you guys. 57 of 61. Everybody still having fun, huh? Drake's house, day. In a sweeping reversal of fate, the Powerpuff Girls are beloved once again in Townsville. A super bloom surrounds the Utonium home. Townsville residents swing by, leaving gifts. A huge sign is hung across the front lawn. Thank you, Powerpuff Girls. Drake's house, Blossom's bedroom, day. On the TV. The town is pleading for the girls to return permanently, but the sisters have yet to comment. Pan from the TV to Blossom. Standing by the window, she admires... Oh man, I'm sitting down for too long. She admires signs outside as she watches a Bitmoji. Clive Bitmoji. Look, I get it. It's a cool opportunity. I just love our life together. I don't want to ask you to turn it down, but I hope you do. Sorry, doing this on Bitmoji was a stupid idea. Love you. Blossom sighs, then notices something outside. Blossom opens the front door as someone walks away. Jojo? Jojo smiles shyly at Blossom. Hey, I was just leaving you a little token of appreciation. Buttercup looks out the window, watching them. Bubba, come here. Bubbles joins her at the window. What? Whoa. Blossom picks up Jojo's gift as an action figure of her, the one we saw Jojo holding in the teaser. Wow, where did you get this? I actually bought it behind my dad's back when I was a kid. I had to hide it under the bed like porn. Jojo was if Jojo's also in his 20s now, They're 20. What did they say? It was Blossom's 25th birthday, and they started off as 7. So this is 18 years later. So this kid is probably like 22 or 23. So that means he had to have been about 5 back then in the teaser. And he had to hide it under his bed like porn. Not because I did anything creepy with it, just because he hated you. Buttercup, oh my god, this is brutal. Boss says, no, yeah, I got that. I remember. I'm still so sorry, Jojo. Jojo, it was an accident. Speaking of, I'm sorry about falsely accusing your dad of mass terrorism. Blossom, yeah, real egg on your face, huh? Jojo, a little bit, yeah. Well, I guess we're even. Then awkward stumble. I mean, we're not even. Nowhere close. I just mean, don't worry. Bubbles, is she flirting? Girl. Jojo, you think you guys are going to stay? I don't know. We have to talk about it. Jojo says, well, I hope you do. Jojo starts to walk away. Blossom says, Jojo, why don't you hate me? Jojo smiles, shrugs. It's not for lack of trying. Night. Blossom watches Jojo go, oddly drawn to him. Are y'all catching this? Oi. Utonium House dining room night. The sisters talk over each other at dinner, telling Drake a story. Their energy is magnetic and warm, like old times. So, Dad, I come behind her and zap her. She flies like 20 feet and splats into a wall. All of them crack up. Drake slaps his knee. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Good thing they caught her. You know, she murdered her parents. Really? Good goss. Good goss? I don't get it. So, have you girls thought about whether or not you want to stay in Townsville? The girls look at each other quiet. Blossom's about to speak when Drake cuts her off. Drake, before you answer, I just want to say, I know you are individuals with full lives and aspirations. So if picking up your old mantle doesn't feel like your life anymore, I want you to honor that. The girls are shocked by Drake's uncharacteristic clarity. We got that bug out? Drake says, Sarah called me, which I know wasn't easy for her, and mentioned that I sometimes don't express to you that girls I see you... Wait. Sarah called me, which I know wasn't easy for her, and mentioned that I sometimes don't express to you girls that I see you as full people. Bubble says, I said that too, Jerry Orbach. Drake, you're my daughter's first, and your happiness is all that matters. You and Sarah still talk? You know she still has a crush on you. We'll discuss Sarah later. For now, you girls need to make a decision. If you need me, I'll be in my lab. Drake leaves, a beat. Buttercup, are we really doing this? I'd be giving up my whole life. A job, a great guy that loves me. Bubbles, I'd be giving up Hollywood. It was my dream. I probably looked pathetic to you guys, but... Blossom, you didn't. Buttercup, I'm giving up backyard chickens. Then serious, and a lot of other stuff too, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it. But what about you guys? They share nervous glances. Blossom, the most conflicted. Bubbles, grew up in a small town, and when the rain would fall down, I'd just stare out my window. Buttercup smiles, joining in. Buttercup and Bubbles, dreaming of what could be, and if I'd end up happy, I would pray. I could break away. And they're doing that song again. They both stop singing and look at Blossom. Is she in or not? Blossom looks pained. She shakes her head. Buttercups and Bubbles share a disappointed nod, a silent beat. Then, Blossom comes in to finish the verse. So predictable. It was a fake out. What a slut. Buttercup and Bubbles are thrilled. They join in singing in each other's faces. Visceral. A complete return to childhood. All three girls. I'll make a wish, take a chance, make a change, and break away. Oh, I know this song now. That's an old song. Now I know this song. Powerpuff Girls home, Drake's lab, continuous. Drake hears the girl singing upstairs and smiles. He peers into a microscope, examining the defunct woolly bear robot. But he's doing more than just examining it, he's repairing it. The bot wiggles back to life and Drake smiles. He walks to a cabinet revealing a hidden door. He opens it, walks inside. Lights flicker on as Drake places the bot in a glass cage, surrounded by other mysterious specimens. As he exits, he looks to a picture of his wall of himself, Bubbles, Buttercup, Blossom as young girls. He looks at them guilt-ridden. Close on the 2000s action figure of Blossom as the girls continue to scream, sing, and dance in the BG. Match 2. Mojo's observed a camera feed that Jojo watches. The action figure has a secret camera inside, a scowl on his face. His pet monkey watches the feed beside him, eating a banana. I'll find another way to win re-election. We took them out once. We can do it again, right, Dad? The monkey screeches in favor as we cut to black. And that's it. This thing got unfocused. There we go. Yeah. And that is it, guys. That is the... Wow, it took us 2.5 hours to read that, huh? Well, I guess the first 30 minutes I didn't have the full script. It took us 2 hours to read that script. That's crazy. That's crazy. Guys, I don't have too many words that I haven't said already. This is something. This is something. Yeah, the JoJo plot twist coming. Yeah. Well, and then he's still doing the evil thing because the in the figure he planted a camera. Now, the one thing I don't understand is what is this? Drake is repairing the Wooly back to life, and then he opens a hidden door and walks into a secret lab. He places the bot in a glass cage surrounded by other mysterious specimens. As he exits, he looks at a wall of himself, Bubbles, Buttercup, and Blossom as the young girls. He looks at them guilt-ridden. Okay, but I don't like the last part. I understand because he's still feeling guilt about what he's done over the girls. But why did he repair the thing? And what are the other mysterious specimens that are in there? Not that I care, but it's I don't know. It is crap, and you're right. It could have been worse, but it still is just not good. It's just not a good... Why are there sex jokes? Why? I think the 4th and 5th act are okay. They're not perfect, but I think the act 4 and 5 are okay. Everything... Maybe the teaser was okay, too. But... Acts 2 and 3, they're literally nothing but just sex jokes that are completely unnecessary and way too much information about the girls, like Buttercup having sex with this other girl that she met at a bar 6 times in one sitting, Bubbles having taken nude photos of herself, just unnecessary. I wonder if Ace will be filming stuff, barely saying anything for the whole show. Probably. Unless a lot of his dialogue is ad-libbed by the actor, which could be possible. Depending on who they get. But guys, I think I'm going to get ready to sign off. We've been reading this. We've been streaming for about 2.5 hours now. But crazy, guys. Hopefully the rewrite is going to be better. I really do. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Make sure if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. I got a lot of content coming soon, more live streams, more other stuff. Because Powerpuff Girls is hot right now, I think maybe the next game I might do might be a Powerpuff Girls game. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to sign off.